Hello there. The Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt, is being warned that the windfall tax is an existential threat to our energy industry. Now, if you haven't already done so, please do subscribe and then like and comment below. So that budget, supposedly put together by the grown-ups in the room, Jeremy Hunt and Rishi Sunak, might be about to collapse the UK energy industry. Who are they working for? Just Stop Oil? Or have they quietly crossed the floor to join Caroline Lucas in the Greens? That pair slapped an extra windfall levy on the energy sector, so that the likes of Shell now pay 75% tax on their windfall profits. And that windfall tax has been extended until 2028. And this comes after a couple of years of heavy losses. And the taxpayer didn't bail them out in the loss-making years, but is very keen to fleece them in their good times. But right now we face energy shortages and need every kilowatt hour we can get hold of. This is the time for the energy companies to invest in getting more UK oil and gas from out under the sea and out from under the ground. But why should they now do so? It takes decades to go through an oil or gas cycle from initial start to ongoing profitability. And all the energy companies see now is a green net zero brick wall approaching. Their industry started becoming unviable the moment that Theresa May unilaterally signed the UK into net zero by 2050. So any billions injected into more oil production today would likely now never see a profit. So why would they bother investing? And if you tax them at 75%, with no floor price to that tax rate, then it makes them even more unviable. No wonder the energy companies are re-evaluating all their projects. But it looks like our Prime Minister and Chancellor believe that taxing the UK without a plan for growth will somehow benefit us all, and now they seem to think you can get more energy by slapping more tax on those that provide it. Just more proof that this government has only one policy, and that is degrowth and deindustrialisation. And we are facing an energy crunch in the UK within the next decade. And it's the politicians over the last 40 years what done it. But there is one private company that is looking to take matters into their own hands. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the owner of INEOS, is in talks with Rolls-Royce to build a mini nuclear reactor for his chemicals plant. While Rolls-Royce has been telling the government to stop yapping about modular nuclear reactors and get on with it. But the politicians will want to gauge public reaction first, no doubt. But why bother? They're toast anyway. Now, Ratcliffe's plan is to use a modular reactor to power the INEOS industrial complex in Grangemouth, Scotland, not far from Falkirk and about 25 miles to the west of the centre of Edinburgh. And given the SNP Green Coalition view on nuclear, this might be a hard sell, although the SNP has said that new nuclear could be considered. The UK government needs to find a way of getting the UK energy company windfall profits to be invested in new nuclear so that the energy companies get a return on that investment. Or are we going to do the usual and get the French and Chinese to provide the money and get the rewards? And while all that's going on, we find out that government red tape is holding back the starting date for 2 new hydropower projects in the Scottish Highlands. It looks like the decision will be delayed until 2024, and then this would take the completion date out to the end of the decade, just when the energy crunch would be likely to kick in. Surely an earlier decision would give us more energy certainty as we go into the 2030s. But maybe they first have to go through a lengthy process to find out what the impact of such projects will have on the flora and fauna of Scotland, and make sure the locals are happy about it too. All that excavating and lorries driving about the place. And that's one of the arguments that kills off fracking. What will we do if these proposed hydropower systems are deemed too damaging? Now, stories abound about the difficulties UK businesses are having right now, and you only have to read the papers to see stories of business owners looking to downsize or even shut up shop. Many of them are the ones that did not personally benefit from any of the COVID loan or furlough schemes. But they are the ones who are now expected to pay back the money that others enjoyed. But it's not just the UK where small businesses are suffering. More and more small businesses in the US are having difficulty paying the rent for their business premises. In the US, they had an $800 billion paycheck protection program called PPP to get them through the pandemic. But the custom those businesses lost during COVID never came back for many of them. And now the PPP tap has been turned off, they face lower income but increasing rents. And it's reported that 41% of US small businesses will be unable to make their full rental payments this month, with the delinquency rate being 49% where car dealerships and repair shops are concerned. And this is the time of the year that traditionally drives the bulk of most small business annual profits. Things are looking bleak for a large section of the US small business sector. While here in the UK, the Chancellor has halved the dividend threshold and frozen the VAT threshold, putting real dampeners on small business growth. What a way to help business through the rough times, eh? Pull a large vacuum in the Treasury vaults by giving money away for people to do nothing for a few years, and then when we need business to step forward to get growth going again, tax the productive part of the economy into stagnation. Now, what I find puzzling is the emergence of diphtheria in the UK. We've gone from one case in 2020 to 70 suspected cases in 2022. And the blame is being placed at the door of the Manston Asylum Centre arrivals processing. But Manston only processes the arrivals we know about. How about those that still make it across undetected or absconded? But if you remember, the government was lambasted for keeping people in Manston for more than 24 to 48 hours and was told it was illegal to keep them there any longer. Now, I did a quick read-up on diphtheria, and it takes 2 to 5 days to show symptoms and 4 to 6 weeks to recover from after treatment. So shouldn't we now be keeping all new but unidentified arrivals in enforced quarantine for a week? Or would that be illegal too? And finally, when subscribing, please don't forget to press that little bell and also select the all option, or you won't get any notifications when I publish a new video. And thank you all so much for taking the time to watch the show.